Have you ever looked into a mirror and felt that something was wrong? Something small, something you could not explain. What if one day your reflection stopped copying you? What if the person looking back at you was not you anymore? This is the story of a man who discovered that his reflection was hiding a terrifying secret. My name is Daniel, and I never believed in ghosts, spirits, or anything supernatural. I always thought people created scary stories because they were afraid of things they did not understand. But everything changed the night I realized my reflection was not just an image in the mirror. It was something else, something that was waiting for me. I lived alone in a small apartment at the edge of the city. It was a quiet place, but I liked the silence. Every night after work, I followed the same routine. I came home, cooked dinner, watched some television, and before sleeping, I always stood in front of the bathroom mirror to brush my teeth. It was a normal habit, something I did without thinking. But one night, everything changed. I was brushing my teeth and looking at myself in the mirror when I noticed something strange. My reflection was looking directly into my eyes, but I was looking down at my toothbrush. For a second, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. I quickly looked up, and my reflection copied my movement perfectly. I laughed and told myself I was just tired. I went to bed and forgot about it. But the next night, it happened again. I was washing my face, and when I looked into the mirror, my reflection was already looking at me. Not my face, my eyes. It felt like it was studying me. I stepped back, and my reflection stepped back too. Everything was normal again. But deep inside, I knew something was wrong. Over the next few days, small things started happening. Sometimes I would leave my room and see my reflection still standing in the mirror for a second before following me. Sometimes it smiled when I was not smiling. Sometimes I felt like it was trying to tell me something, but there was no sound. I started avoiding mirrors, covering them with clothes, and keeping the bathroom light off at night. But the strange thing was that no matter where I went, I could always feel it watching me. One night, during a heavy storm, the power went out in my apartment. The whole place became dark. I used my phone flashlight and walked toward the kitchen. As I passed the mirror near the hallway, I stopped. The flashlight showed my reflection standing there, but I was not standing the same way. My reflection had its hands down while my hands were holding the phone. I froze. Slowly, my reflection raised one hand and placed a finger on its lips, telling me to be quiet. I could not move. My heart was beating so fast that I could hear it. Then the lights came back on, and everything was normal. I ran out of the apartment and stayed at a friend's house that night. I tried to explain what happened, but even I knew it sounded impossible. My friend told me I was stressed and needed rest. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was losing my mind. But when I returned home the next morning, I found something that proved I was not imagining things. On my bathroom mirror, written from the inside of the glass, were 4 words. "Let me out." I stared at those words for a long time. My hands were shaking. There was no way someone could write on the inside of a mirror. I touched the glass, and suddenly my reflection appeared behind me. I turned around quickly, but nobody was there. When I looked back at the mirror, my reflection was smiling. It moved its mouth slowly, and even though I could not hear anything, I understood what it was saying. It said, "You are the reflection now." I ran from the bathroom and locked myself in my bedroom. I did not know what to do. I searched online for answers, but every story sounded fake. Then I found an old article about a strange mirror that was connected to a legend. The story said some mirrors were believed to hold pieces of people who looked into them too long. According to the legend, a reflection could become stronger if a person gave it attention and fear. I wanted to believe it was just an old story, but I knew the truth. That night, I decided I would destroy the mirror. I picked up a hammer and walked toward the bathroom. The apartment was completely silent. When I entered the bathroom, the mirror was covered with cracks. Even though I had not touched it, my reflection was standing there. But this time, it was not copying me. It was standing completely still. I lifted the hammer, but my reflection shook its head. Then it pointed behind me. I slowly turned around. Standing in the darkness behind me was another version of myself. It looked exactly like me, but its eyes were empty. I realized the truth. The reflection in the mirror was not trying to escape into my world. It was trying to warn me. The thing behind me was not my reflection. It was something that had already replaced me. I looked back at the mirror, and my reflection was now trapped inside, hitting the glass and screaming silently. The creature behind me smiled and whispered, "Nobody will notice the difference." The next morning, my neighbors saw me leaving the apartment like normal. I went to work, talked to people, and lived my life. Everything looked fine. But there was one problem. I stopped appearing in mirrors. People thought I was joking when I told them. They laughed and said mirrors do not work like that. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was never the real person. Maybe I was only a reflection that escaped for a short time. So the next time you stand in front of a mirror, look carefully. Make sure your reflection is following you. Make sure it smiles when you smile. Make sure it moves when you move. Because sometimes the scariest thing is not what is hiding in the darkness. Sometimes the scariest thing is the face looking back at you. If you enjoyed this horror story, video like and subscribe.